JP poll, week 4 edition, is in, not to be confused with the commissioner's poll. If you came here looking for rankings, you want to see the commissioner's poll, not the AP poll. Never. AP poll's dead to us. So the commissioner's poll, that's Thursday. That's rankings. These are not rankings. You see what the monitor says? These are not rankings. The JP poll is power ratings. The JP poll, which is generated by this model right here, is just meant to show in a predictive manner, meaning not caring about the past, looking to the future. In a predictive manner, it's supposed to show us neutral field favorability, meaning it is going to stack all these teams based on who it would favor against who on a neutral field. That was pretty clear. I mean, that was one time through. We didn't pre-record that or anything. So with that in mind, let's start counting down. I did listen to some of you who have been criticizing our methodology here, and you said it doesn't help that we don't have a visual aid. If we're listening, just listening on podcast, could you please just do it in order instead of doing it in a random order? I've listened. Never say I don't listen. I've listened. Let's start at 20. We'll work our way down. We got Illinois jumping 6 spots to number 20, and they've got a big couple of weeks on deck. So Illinois checks in at number 20. FSU's at 19. All right, just hold on FSU. Let me get back to them. Texas Tech's up 5 spots to number 18. We got USC dropping. The model was not impressed with the Purdue game. So USC's at 17, and Clemson is at 16. Now, let me tell you, just because the model spits this out doesn't mean I agree with it, because if you think that I'm taking Clemson over Florida State on a neutral field right now, drugs. I'm not. So I do disagree with the model's placement. I think Clemson should be a little bit lower than this. But if you're wondering, let me save you the time. Georgia Tech will not be in the top 20 for the JP poll. And if you're confused by that, like if you're wondering, for example, but if they're not in the top 20 and Clemson's 16, how does that make sense? Georgia Tech just beat Clemson. Think about it this way. Clemson entered the game as a 3.5-point favorite on the road. So we're adding 3 points of home field value or thereabouts for Georgia Tech. So add 3 to 3.5. That implies about 6.5 points in gap on a neutral field between Clemson and Georgia Tech. Let me tell you how this works. There is no world where there is a 6.5-point gap going into a game, and then the game is decided at the buzzer on a field goal, and that gap closes. That's not the way this works. It's not the way it works. And FanDuel would readily back me up on this. Clemson would absolutely be favored against Georgia Tech on a neutral field tomorrow. Now, I'd take Georgia Tech, to be very clear, just like I took them last week. I'd have no qualms about that. But Clemson would be favored. And that's all this is about. Number 15 is Missouri. Eli Drinkwitz has checked in the top 20. They're up 5 spots. Utah, 14. That is really high for a Big 12 team. Because a lot of this, as you guys love to point out, it absolutely is about roster talent. It absolutely is about recruiting rankings. A lot of it's baked in. You may scoff at that. I'd ask you to find me a better predictive talent measurement than that. I'd ask you to do that. I don't think you can. So it's not everything, but they are baked in here. And for Utah to be number 14 anyway is impressive. Ole Miss is number 13, LSU 12. Texas, this is significant. Anybody who's watched this show for a long time knows that the model and Texas share the same bed every night. And the model has dropped Texas out of the top 10. I never thought I'd see the day. Texas is number 11. Understand, not in a ranking, but in a power rating format, for a talent roster as loaded as Texas to be outside of the top 10 is shocking. I was about to say no quarterback injury. Reportedly no quarterback injury. Because really the only way you would see that kind of drop is with quarterback injury normally. We're told that's not the case. So yeah, Texas 11. All right, top 10, Texas A&M. Hey, wait just a second. Appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. Checking in at number 10. Tennessee is 9. They're up 5 spots after losing a game, which is the difference in power ratings and rankings. A lot of the doubt being erased about Tennessee. Oklahoma's 8. Notre Dame is number 7. Winless Notre Dame. Number 7. Miami's number 6. Let's talk. Let's talk. I'm giving you time. I know a lot of you are screaming right now. All right, so there's one group that I'm not going to waste much time on that still, after all these years, doesn't understand how power ratings work. To them, of course, Notre Dame at 7 makes no sense. I suspect, Jesse, that there are even some people who know how power ratings work who are saying, no, I get all that. But even still, Notre Dame can't be top 10. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Notre Dame 100% would be favored today if they played A&M in Indianapolis or Kansas City or a neutral field. They would be favored. They just would be. Well, Josh, we're going to go down this road. I'm going to speak for you. Well, Josh, does that mean you don't care about the results on the field? Yes. Yes. Well, why do you still have A&M behind them? Tune in Thursday. I won't. That's when I'll rank them. This is a power rating. What do we care about here? One thing. Who would be favored? Notre Dame would be favored. That's it. That's the end. It doesn't even matter who I'd bet once the line was put out there. It only matters what the line would be. And if you're not interested in that, great news. You don't have to click on it. I don't even know what I want you to click on anyway. All right, let's go 5-1 here right quick. Penn State is number 5. Alabama's up back in the top 5. They're at number 4. So it seems the model was convinced from that win over Wisconsin. Georgia's number 3. Oregon's number 2. And Ohio State is number 1. There is a 10-point gap right now between number 1 and number 14. There is a 10-point gap between number 14 and 42. The field has never been this compacted. And for the record, if you're wondering who just missed out, Auburn's at 21, Indiana 22, Nebraska 23, Georgia Tech 24, Michigan 25. That is the JP poll this week. I had a conversation with Alex today. I was perusing the Pate State store, patestateMaterial.com. I happen to prefer Tri-Blend as a material. I happen to prefer it. And so I asked her, can we get some more of these shirts in Tri-Blend? For me, I was just being selfish because I was having her ship me a big order because you can do that when you have your own store. And she said, do you just want me to put Tri-Blend options on a bunch of the shirts, which I didn't even know we could do. So for those of you who have been banging the Tri-Blend drum, Tri-Blend options are coming on a lot of the shirts in the store. We also added a new one today that is closely correlated to power ratings over rankings. PateStateMaterial.com.